Welcome to the Golf Spotlight. I'm Ralph Irvin here at the TaylorMade headquarters, and today we are talking about their new drivers. That's the M5 and the M6, and to tell us all about it is part of the driver production team. That's Patrick Baxter. Patrick, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ralph.
When people look at the new M5 and M6 drivers, the first thing they're noticing, the first thing people are talking about are the tuning ports. And I guess what they don't realize is this is about making the driver the best possible club it can be, and it all starts in the production process, and it just shows itself in the tuning ports.
More importantly, it's the last stage of the manufacturing process. The likelihood of having a fast head has now come to life in the retail market. Normally for our test tour pros, we want to make sure Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, they get the best head possible. You got to think of it as a bell curve in manufacturing tolerances. Right. So we'll target a specific CT. But what this injection process does is it shifts our manufacturing tolerances closer to the USGA limit. So essentially, your chances of having a fast head is greater with this process with a TaylorMade driver than our competitors.
Well, and when you talk about that bell curve, when you talk about the manufacturing process, what it is you don't want to have clubs that are non-conforming because they're no good to anyone. And so you dial down the production so it's not maxed out. Now you can make clubs that are maxed out because you're able to dial them down to being conforming level.
That's right. So that's why we'll call it speed injection. So here's how this works. When you attach carbon to the top of the club, or you have a carbon sole in the club, those parts all have an effect on the CT. So what we do is we will build the club, put the paint on the club, we'll have the carbon attached to the face, and the injection ports are empty, they're hollow. An algorithm will be sent up to the cloud, and the data tells us how much tuning resin to inject into those reservoirs that you can see behind us.
Right.
Those reservoirs, each head's tested. So your head, my head, it's all tested, and there's a different amount of tuning resin in each part of the reservoir. Then we place it in the machine again, and we ensure that we have a fast head. So essentially, you're really getting a personalized experience unlike any other. And our chances of having fast heads, the heads that are close to the USGA limit, are greater.
And let's talk about the club itself, because you actually have carbon fiber not only in the crown, but also in the sole.
That's right. There's 30% more carbon in our M6 as compared to last year's M4. Great aerodynamic design. I think what you'll notice too is we have a matte carbon top, and that silver border is a lot slimmer in this year. So when we showed the world twist face, listening to tour feedback, when we told folks that there was more loft in the high toe, a lot of folks said that our clubs appeared more open. Because of the new face masking, there's still twist face. We'll still have twist face in this driver, but the club appears much more neutral, and it's being received well.
And with the M5, you do have the movable weights. In the M3, it was a Y track to distribute the weight. Now you've got it as a T track, so you can have the weight up front, you can have it centered, or you can send it to a fade or a draw bias.
It's true. What we did, it's an inverse T track, essentially. So we're using two independent 10-gram weights. Really, Ralph, we want to make sure that folks understand that you can earn the same forgiveness value in your driver in the M5 than you can in M6. And that's a perception that I think better players should go to M3 and maybe worse players should go to M4. Well, that's really not the case. Because of the new track, you can place more weight back, and really what that does is it makes the club more forgiving. So you're getting a very forgiving driver in the M5 family of product and also the M6. So really it's the same forgiveness.
People want to learn about all the different technologies that are inside these clubs and learn more about the tuning ports and the track, basically everything, because there's a lot of tech in this club. Where do the people go to get that?
Certainly go to TaylorMadeGolf.com or check out your website. You're always doing a nice job explaining our products.
All right, Patrick, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
I want to thank Patrick Baxter for joining us here on the Golf Spotlight. Join us next time as we continue to give you the information that you need on your next golf purchase.